Hi, everyone. It's Athena. Welcome back. Okay, so before I begin, I wanted to add just a quick little blurb about yesterday's reading when we discussed the reading that came out about the narrative of the responsibility that we must take as parents and to be the example, so to speak, was the moral, right, of the story. And then today, this morning, I am meditating before this reading, and I started hearing first comes love, then comes marriage, then comes so-and-so in the baby carriage, right? Don't you remember that? So do you see the enormous connection, the thread of even down to the nursery rhymes, the children's poems, everything is what we grew up believing. So if you take a minute and think of these things that we grew up, all the songs written about love, all the experiences, the Cinderella complex that someone wrote about yesterday, absolutely true, right? The movies, the songs, the books, the poems, the children's nursery rhymes, all of those who have come before us were giving us heads up, right? They were giving us like the knowledge to move forward and to change the narrative. Because with every generation, right? Every generation is hit by some sort of tragedy or devastation, right? So we are not, and of course it's not, it depends on the magnitude of the devastation. We haven't had, let's just say a war since the 1800s, late 1800s. However, if you look at the dictatorship, and if you look at the on one hand, we haven't had that since, right, 1830s, 40s, something like that, right? World War II. And yet, right now, we have what seems to be like something unfolding with which we must conquer this is a spiritual revolution. It's not going to be, this is not a war, so to speak, of it will be at some point, some physical interaction, but the true spiritual revolution that's going on is to conquer your fear and conquer all of those songs. The Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall and broke it and couldn't put them back together again. Look it up. Start Googling certain things that we grew up hearing, reading, singing, the songs. Everything stemmed around, of course, because that's what happens, right? Every generation writes about what they experienced, and from one generation to another, and then we find that thread, right? We have to see that there's a thread here in the dictatorship, in also what's being written, what's being heard, what's being said, right? Put it all together, but also do it. I mean, you don't have to do it, but you can see it once you realize, or once you're aware of it, right? Which everyone on this channel pretty much is on a spiritual path. So as light workers, empaths, starseeds, what have you, we already know the things that you can be prepared for, the things to come by being smart enough to know, well, I'm not going to entertain all of this fear-based mentality because that's what happened, back in the 1800s. and the dictatorship of misuse of power has been happening for centuries, since the beginning of time, right? So don't feed into it, but look at it as, and that's why I brought up that song, that I heard it, and it's so true, because we are only responsible for our own lives, right? We know that. So look back at some of the nursery rhymes. Look back at some of the songs that came out of those times of, tragedies. Look at what the prior ancient sages, right? What they were writing about, what they were talking about. Are we learning from? Have we learned from? Have we evolved to the point where we're not going to fall into the trap of what they've wanted since the beginning of time, is to scare you? Are you going to fall into that trap? Really? Are you not? Are we not, as a generation, have we not evolved? Not to get into, I'm not trying to get into politics. I'm trying to show you the thread that's happened since nursery rhymes came out, the Cinderella complex, all of that. It was was there to show us what was going on then, and how things come around back again, right? Because it does. It comes back again. But this time it's coming back so that you can evolve and become spiritually aware and understand what's going on. So that's my point. If you can understand what's going on and not be fearful of, you've already conquered the majority of all that stuff going on out there. Okay. Sorry that I had to go through that. Okay. Okay. So to allow yourself to be enlightened, be enlightened. Look at love. What is the sun is our energetic vitality, right? It gives us life. That's why it came out. This is what gives us life, is the energy and the vitality of love. That's what makes the world go round. And that's another song. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. So that's today's song. And it is the only thing, right? I'm hearing this song. I'm like, what the world needs now is love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. All right, so abundant love is what the world needs now. Be happy with what you have right in this very moment. Everything that you have, every experience you've gone through, just be happy, be grateful, be content, knowing that we got another gift of another day, the gift of another day today. Okay? Before you allow yourself, it's kind of like free fall, right? Now I'm hearing, oh my God, I cannot believe I'm hearing all this music. I'm free falling, right? It's time to surrender. It's time to fall freely into the surrender of life. Surrender to life and be only love. That's what this is all about. It is disciplining yourself. It's a discipline. It's not easy. It's really easy. Let me just put this down here. It's really easy, is it not? It's really easy to jump on the bandwagon of fear and get on the phone with someone who wants only to talk about, oh my God, did you see what happened at the Capitol today? Just using this example. Really? Is that what you want to really talk about? Do you want to give more energy to that? Right? Or do you want to give more energy to a life of love? And if that means not picking up the phone to listen to someone talk about what's going on out there, I mean, come on, it's your choice, of course. You do have what makes you happy? I mean, let's look at it another way right here. What makes you happy? Are you going to succumb to the fear-based mentality or love? And in the middle, what is your happy place? Is your default to jump ship? Meaning, are you going to fall from grace? Or are you going to raise yourself up and reach for the infinite stars? The stars that you are. And in between that is be happy whichever side of the fence, so to speak, that you're on. Because this issue is not black and white. Love is not defined as, love has different measures. Life has different measures, right? You can love your sister and love your daughter in a completely different way. Hello, of course you can. Life is not black and white. It is in color. So are you going to live in a fear-based mentality where they want you to succumb to their wishes, their wills, their ways, which is what we grew up with, right? Or are you going to take your own self and soar? This is all within you. This has happened for eons, They want to conquer and divide. Are you going to allow them? And I'm talking about them as society, because that's where what the world needs now is more love, not more of this. So that's why this is the choice. And the 10 of Pentacles is in the middle, because it is not just black and white. It's not one way or the other. It is in color. Merge the two. Merge and synergize your fear and put it into something that you love, right? We talk about it, alchemizing. Learn how to do that. It takes discipline. Okay. Free falling, right? You take this. When we look at the tower, here's another example. When you look at the tower, you can either see someone falling to their death or allowing spirit, right? When times are tough, I'm saving myself. I'm jumping to save myself so that I can be happy. Or I'm allowing fear to take hold of my life. One, right? Look at that. Here today, gone tomorrow. Do you understand? Here's the dynamic duo. It is. Here's life, and here's what you make of that life. You can either be reborn through your fear and alchemize it to love, or you can surrender to all of the fear and get so engrossed in that fear by which it takes hold of you. Death is not just a physical death. Death is the old dying off so that the new can be reborn, born again. So which side of this, and why do we have to have this as sides? Do you understand? Let's merge the two and not only become reborn. Do you see that? When we merge the two, not only we are no longer, I should say, divided, we become one. Because the thread is still there. The thread of life is love. And the fear is the egoic mind. That's man-made. Love is not, cannot be seen, but only can be felt. The mind can play tricks on you. It can bring you to your death if you let it. But when you merge these 4 cards together, you have a rebirth, a beautiful rebirth of, what is it? Life, surrendering to life, surrendering to a new life, and seeing the beautiful landscape of colors within this process, which evolves over, it comes and goes, it comes and goes. Some people are reborn over here, starting over again. Once again, some people pass on and they leave this world because they're not ready, they can't handle it, and they're reborn the other way. Still, hence, it's, what is it? Rebirth of the soul evolving. Life goes around as every generation and every instant that we are reliving a past, let's say, right, 1800s right now, and some of you may look at the, what's going on out there as exactly that kind of, mandate of living, of lifestyle changing. You can either, like I said, you can either be fearful of it, or you can just embrace it and only live in your little, let's say, in your world of love. Either way, the common denominator is the evolution and revolution of love. The cycle. However it goes down in your life. So take some time out to gather your thoughts and change what is up here so that out here and in here, first of all, okay, let me say that. I said it. What your mind thinks that comes from your heart says, I want, right? I want to live again. Take time to look at those who came before us. right? Look to see how others, did you ever read about, maybe a biography of what people were going through during the Depression, World War II? How did they survive? How did they think? What were the, what was their go-to? What was their default, right? Were they fearful, or were they, it humbled them for sure, right? So take a minute to do some research and look into the history of our world. Because right now, the history remains the same. It's coming around in a different, obviously the players are different, right? But the common thread is what's going on. It's the dictatorship. It's how it's going down. And how you're being presented with it. This is what you are going to, this is the research, and this is how you're going to handle that. You have a choice. We have free will. I feel like I have to take them. I'm gonna. Okay. So do some research about what happened in days of old, in the times of the people that came before us. Take stock of those times. Do research. Look into what happened then. Are you doing research? Are you looking beyond just the surface of what you're being told? Are you seeing what's going deep? You have to go deep. This is going deep. So take time to go deep and look at where you've been and where you're headed. It's your choice. And then find the balance. The balance is right here. Right? Here's your balance. Where do you fall in these 4 cards? Forgive them. I'm hearing it, so I have to say it. Forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do. So, what will you do? Well, let's start by taking Spirit's advice and getting some good sleep, so that our higher self, our ancestors, those who came before us, who probably, some of us do have family on the other side that experienced World War II, even back to World War I. Maybe there's messages that, instead of worrying, use your energy to get some rest, enough rest to see a new outlook. Look at people fighting. Look, there's people fighting. There's people that don't understand that all they have to do is drop these wands. But everyone's living, there's a lot to be said. Like what we say is don't live in the past because the past is gone. Well, the past is gone. But have we learned from the past that has crumbled? Here's Spirit. I have to say, I'm gonna say there are going to be people that will not make it. Spirit is saying that. There are going to be people that succumb to the fall. Because some people just cannot learn, they haven't learned to let go of, of the animosity, of the resentments, of the guilt, of the anger. This is anger. They're still holding on to everything that happened, all the vets. It can't be easy to be, right? To have gone through literally a physical war, right? Everyone has scars. So you can allow this to take over however way you're going to do so. But look, I mean, come on. Spirit saying, take a minute. Take a minute. That's all we have right now, right? Do some research. Look past the surface of what's going on and find the thread. Or you can take it as, I'm going to defend myself to the end. And I'm not going to allow this to take me down. Because this is the same. These cards here are the same exact cards. Let me show you. Here's the middle. Here's the above the horizon, right? Let me just, hold on. Okay. Here is above the horizon, the sun, the 10 of Pentacles, the Tower, and the Death card, right? Here's your choice. Taking your time is in the horizon. Looking back and looking past what has been and where are you going. You see that? What has been and where are you going. Deciding to choose. What side are you going to be on? Right? Do you have to pick a side? Do some research. Please forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do. Getting more rest, getting to sleep, you will start putting the pieces together with these two cards in the middle. That is where you're going to get your help. You're going to do some really solid research and also get enough sleep so you can grab onto some information, some thread of survival. Survival to the fittest. So now we have the same dichotomy here. What do we have? Well, you can look back and say, oh my God, this is way too much to bear. Below the horizon. Here is the Father. Looking down on the children. Right? In contemplation, sleeping, finally getting some sleep. Sleeping. And the other side of the picture is, oh my God, I am going to stick up for my rights, for myself and for my life. And I'm going to take this new life, take this present moment, and I'm going to do something really magnificent with this moment that I have currently. I only have this very moment right now. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to let that be my guiding light. Look at that. You can't. Wow. That is going to be my guiding light. My guiding light is going to direct me. The light of love from Spirit is going to direct my life. As above, so below. Oh, sorry, I hope I didn't, seriously, I hope that didn't give you a headache. So, be still, again, be still, be patient, and allow for messages to come in from Spirit. Get some rest, eat healthy, and figure out on this above the horizon and below the horizon, take time to do your research, to get really go within and find out where you want to put your energy. And know that the world needs so much more love. So work hard on yourself. I could keep going. Work hard on yourself and see your higher truth. That's the vision. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. Have a great day.